Before you send that message, before you chase that person again, before you blame yourself for why they suddenly became distant, consider this. What if Allah is answering a prayer you forgot you made? You asked for protection. You asked for better people. You asked for peace. You asked Allah to remove anything that was standing between you and the life He has written for you. But when the removal started, you called it heartbreak. When the distance appeared, you called it rejection. When their true behavior became clear, you called it betrayal. But sometimes the answer to your dua does not arrive as something being added to your life. Sometimes it arrives as someone being revealed, and that revelation can hurt, because Allah may allow you to see who truly celebrates you, who only tolerates you, who respects your boundaries, and who only loved you when you had none. Sometimes your growth does not only change you, it reveals them. It reveals who can handle the person you are becoming and who was only comfortable with the version of you that stayed quiet, stayed available, and stayed small. The hardest part is that you may not understand any of this while it is happening. You may cry over the distance. You may question the silence. You may keep asking why someone you trusted suddenly feels like a stranger. But one day, your next chapter may explain every strange goodbye, every sudden silence, every uncomfortable truth, and every person you had to stop chasing. So before you run back to someone Allah may be teaching you to release, listen carefully to these 7 lessons, because they may completely change the way you see the people Allah is allowing to leave your life. Lesson 1. Not everyone can follow you. One of the hardest lessons in life is accepting that not everyone who starts with you will finish with you. Some people enter your life for a season. Some people teach you something. Some people support you during one chapter. Some people become part of your healing. And some people simply cannot continue walking with you when Allah begins changing your direction. This can hurt because you may have imagined certain people being beside you forever. You may have trusted them. You may have shared your pain with them. You may have told them your dreams. You may have helped them during their hardest days. You may have believed that if your life ever became better, they would be standing beside you, smiling with you. But life does not always happen that way. Sometimes you begin growing, and the relationship begins changing. You start thinking differently. You start protecting your peace. You stop accepting disrespect. You become more careful about what you allow into your heart. You become more serious about your relationship with Allah. You begin leaving habits that once controlled you. You stop wanting the same things you wanted before. And suddenly, the people who once felt close to you begin feeling far away. At first, you may blame yourself. You may ask, what happened? Did I do something wrong? Why are they acting differently? Why are we not close anymore? You may even try harder to keep the relationship alive. You send more messages. You make more effort. You ignore things that hurt you. You keep giving chances. You become the only person trying to hold together something that is already changing. But there comes a point when you must understand something important. Not every distance means failure. Sometimes distance simply shows that two people are no longer walking in the same direction. Allah may be teaching you that your future cannot always look like your past. Your next chapter may require a stronger version of you, a wiser version of you, a calmer version of you, a version of you who no longer needs everyone's approval. And sometimes, becoming that person means accepting that some relationships will change. This does not mean you become proud. It does not mean you think you are better than anyone. It does not mean you treat people badly because you believe you are being elevated. Real spiritual growth should make you more humble, not more arrogant. It should make you kinder, more patient, more careful with your words, more aware of your own faults. But humility does not mean allowing everyone unlimited access to your life. You can love someone and still understand that they are no longer healthy for you. You can forgive someone and still keep a boundary. You can wish someone well without bringing them back into the same place they once had in your life. You can make dua for someone from a distance. You can respect the memories without trying to rebuild the relationship. There are people you may always care about, but caring about them does not mean they must travel with you into every new season. Think about how life works. When you were younger, you had people around you who felt important. Then years passed. Your life changed, your responsibilities changed, your mind changed, and many of those people slowly disappeared. At one time, you may have thought you could never live without them. Yet Allah carried you forward. You survived. You learned. You met new people. You became stronger. This should teach you something. Your ability to move forward does not come only from who stays beside you. Your true support comes from Allah. People can help. People can love you. People can encourage you. Good companionship is a great blessing, but people are not the source of your strength. Allah is. When your heart understands this, you stop becoming terrified every time someone leaves. You still feel the pain. You are human. You may cry. You may miss them. You may remember good moments, but you no longer believe that their absence means your life is over. You understand that Allah existed before they entered your life, and Allah will remain after they leave it. That understanding gives you peace. Sometimes we hold on to people because we are afraid of being alone. We know the relationship is painful. We know we are changing. We know something is no longer right. But we keep holding on because loneliness scares us. We would rather stay connected to the wrong people than walk through a quiet season by ourselves. Yet quiet seasons can teach you things that crowded seasons never could. When there are fewer voices around you, you begin hearing your own heart more clearly. You begin seeing your mistakes. You begin noticing what truly matters. You begin speaking to Allah with more honesty. You may pray differently. You may cry differently. You may depend on Allah in a deeper way. You may discover that some of the noise around you was stopping you from seeing what was happening inside you. Sometimes the person who cannot follow you is not evil. This is important. Not every separation needs a villain. Not everyone who leaves you is jealous. Not everyone who becomes distant secretly hates you. Sometimes people simply grow in different directions. Sometimes their responsibilities change. Sometimes your values no longer match. Sometimes Allah writes different paths for different people. You do not have to create hatred where there does not need to be hatred. You can accept an ending with maturity. You can say in your heart, "There was good here, and I am grateful for it. But perhaps this chapter is finished." That is strength. Sometimes, however, Allah allows you to see that someone truly cannot respect the person you are becoming. They only liked you when you had no boundaries. They liked you when you were always available. They liked you when you never said no. They liked you when you remained quiet after being hurt. They liked you when you doubted yourself. They liked you when they could control the relationship. But when you become healthier, their behavior changes. When you say, "Please do not speak to me like that," they call you difficult. When you stop explaining yourself, they say you have changed. When you focus on your goals, they call you selfish. When you protect your peace, they say you think you are better than them. Sometimes people are comfortable with the version of you that does not challenge the way they treat you. Your growth disturbs the balance they enjoyed. Do not answer this with anger. Answer it with wisdom. You do not need to fight everyone. You do not need to expose everyone. You do not need to prove that they are wrong. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply keep becoming better. Keep praying, keep learning, keep healing, keep correcting yourself, keep moving forward. Your life does not need to become a courtroom where you spend every day proving who was right and who was wrong. Let Allah know the full story. Let Allah judge what hearts contain. Your responsibility is to protect your own heart from becoming bitter. This is important because when people leave, Shaitan can use that pain in two ways. First, he can make you desperate. He can make you run after people who repeatedly disrespect you. Second, He can make you bitter. He can make you suspicious of everyone. He can make you believe that nobody is trustworthy. Both extremes are unhealthy. Islam teaches balance. Do not worship relationships, but do not hate people either. Do not become dependent on everyone, but do not close your heart completely. Do not ignore warning signs, but do not assume bad things without evidence. Ask Allah for wisdom. Ask Allah to give you good people. Ask Allah to protect you from harmful relationships. And ask Allah to make you a good companion to others too. Because while you are thinking about who can follow you, you should also ask yourself, am I becoming someone worth walking with? Do I support people sincerely? Do I become jealous when someone succeeds? Do I respect other people's boundaries? Do I speak kindly? Do I make people feel safe? Do I remember Allah in my relationships? Spiritual growth is not only about identifying what is wrong with everyone else. It is also about correcting what is wrong within yourself. Maybe Allah removes some people from you. Maybe Allah also removes you from certain people because they need a different environment. We should remain humble enough to understand that possibility. Do not turn every ending into proof that you are specially chosen and everyone else is the problem. Instead, say, Allah knows what I do not know. I will take the lesson. I will correct myself. I will forgive where I can. I will keep my boundaries where I need them, and I will move forward with Allah. That is a peaceful heart. There may come a day when you look around and realize your circle is much smaller. Do not automatically think something is wrong. A small circle filled with sincerity can be better than a large circle filled with confusion. One person who reminds you of Allah can be more valuable than 20 people who constantly pull you away from peace. One honest friend can be more valuable than a room full of people who smile in front of you and speak differently behind you. Quality matters, character matters, faith matters, peace matters. And sometimes Allah teaches you these lessons only after you have spent years trying to keep everyone. You were never created to carry every relationship forever. Some people were part of your beginning. Some people were part of your struggle. Some people may be part of your success. Some may only cross your path for a short time. Your job is not to force every person into every chapter. Your job is to walk toward Allah with sincerity. If good people are beside you, be grateful. If someone leaves peacefully, let them go peacefully. If someone hurts you, seek healing without becoming cruel. If someone returns with genuine change, use wisdom. And if Allah closes a door, do not destroy yourself trying to break it open. Not everyone can follow you. And sometimes accepting that truth is the beginning of peace. Lesson 2. Their masks start slipping. There are times when Allah allows you to notice things you did not notice before. A person may not suddenly become different. You may simply begin seeing them more clearly. For a long time, you may have ignored certain signs. Maybe you made excuses for them. Maybe you wanted to believe the best. Maybe you cared about them so much that you kept explaining away behavior that hurt you. You told yourself, they are just stressed. They did not mean it. Maybe I am thinking too much. They probably forgot. They are going through something. Sometimes those excuses are fair. People do make mistakes. People have bad days. Nobody behaves perfectly all the time. Islam does not teach us to judge someone's entire heart because of one mistake. But there is a difference between one mistake and a repeated pattern. There is a difference between someone hurting you accidentally and someone repeatedly choosing behavior that breaks your trust. There is a difference between a person who apologizes and tries to change and a person who apologizes only so they can keep doing the same thing. Over time, patterns speak, and sometimes, before a relationship changes completely, you begin noticing those patterns. Their words do not match their actions. Their support feels different when something good happens to you. Their kindness disappears when they cannot benefit from you. They become warm when they need something, then cold when you need support. They celebrate other people publicly, but become strangely silent when you succeed. They ask personal questions, but rarely share anything real about themselves. They want information about your life, but they do not seem happy when your life improves. You begin noticing that something feels uncomfortable. This is where you need balance. Do not become paranoid. Do not start thinking everyone is secretly against you. That is not healthy. Not every quiet person is jealous. Not every disagreement is betrayal. Not every change in someone's mood is proof of bad intentions. We cannot see inside hearts. Only Allah fully knows what a person carries inside. So when we say someone's mask starts slipping, we should understand it in a careful way. It means their behavior begins giving you information. You stop judging only by promises. You start looking at patterns. You stop becoming controlled by beautiful words. You notice consistency. Anyone can say, "I care about you." But do they care when caring requires effort? Anyone can say, "I support you," but do they support you when you are doing well? Anyone can say, "I am happy for you," but do their actions show happiness? Anyone can say, "You can trust me," but what do they do with your private information? Character becomes visible with time. This is why patience can protect you. You do not need to rush into deep trust with every person who appears kind. Kindness is beautiful. Be friendly, be respectful, but allow trust to grow slowly. Watch how a person behaves when they are angry. Watch how they speak about people who are not in the room. Watch what happens when they do not get what they want. Watch how they treat someone who has nothing to offer them. Watch how they react when another person succeeds. These moments can reveal much more than words. You may discover that someone you admired is not as sincere as you believed. That discovery can be painful. Sometimes the pain is not only about what they did, it is also about losing the picture you had of them. You thought they were one kind of person, now you are seeing another side. And your heart has to accept that the relationship was not exactly what you believed it was. That can feel like grief. You may replay old conversations. You may question old memories. You may wonder, was any of it real? Be careful here. A person can have real good in them and still have harmful weaknesses. Human beings are complicated. Someone may have genuinely cared about you at one point and later changed. Someone may have done many good things and still hurt you deeply. You do not always need to erase every good memory because the relationship ended badly, and you do not need to erase the harm because there were good memories. You can hold both truths. You can say, there was good in that relationship, but there was also behavior I can no longer accept. That is emotionally mature. When you begin seeing someone differently, do not rush to revenge. Do not use their weakness as permission to become ugly. Do not gather people and tell everyone what happened, just so you can destroy their reputation. If someone has harmed you, there may be situations where you need to seek help, protect yourself, report abuse, or warn someone who could be in danger. But ordinary relationship pain does not always require public humiliation. Sometimes silence is stronger. Sometimes distance is cleaner. Sometimes your healing needs privacy. You do not need everybody to understand why you walked away. You know what happened. Allah knows what happened. And sometimes that is enough. There is also another kind of mask that can slip, your own. Sometimes Allah exposes not only other people, but also you to yourself. You begin noticing your own unhealthy patterns. Maybe you stayed because you were afraid of being alone. Maybe you kept accepting disrespect because you wanted approval. Maybe you ignored clear problems because the person had status, beauty, money, influence, or something you wanted. Maybe you enjoyed being needed. Maybe you confused attachment with love. Maybe you kept returning because pain felt familiar. This kind of self-awareness can be uncomfortable, but it can also be a gift. It is easy to make every story about the other person. They were fake. They were jealous. They were toxic. They were the problem. Sometimes they truly behaved badly, but your healing becomes deeper when you also ask, why did I keep accepting it? What did this relationship teach me about myself? What boundary did I fail to set? What warning did I repeatedly ignore? What wound inside me made this treatment feel normal? Those questions do not excuse the other person, they strengthen you. Because if you only blame someone else, you may leave one unhealthy relationship and enter another similar one. But if you learn, you become harder to manipulate. You become more aware. You recognize the pattern sooner. You stop needing 10 painful experiences before accepting what one clear action already told you. Sometimes Allah allows truth to appear slowly, not because He wants to destroy you, but because sudden truth might have been too difficult for your heart to accept. So one moment happens, then another, and eventually the picture becomes clear. You may even feel embarrassed because the signs seem obvious afterward. Do not attack yourself. Many intelligent people ignore warning signs when emotions are involved. Attachment can make the mind search for reasons to stay. Love can make you hopeful. Loyalty can make you patient. These qualities are not bad, but they need wisdom. Loyalty without wisdom can become self-neglect. Forgiveness without boundaries can become permission. Patience without awareness can become staying in a situation Allah is giving you every reason to leave. True patience does not mean accepting endless harm. Sometimes patience means leaving without revenge. Sometimes patience means staying quiet when you could insult someone. Sometimes patience means trusting Allah after losing a relationship you thought would last forever. Sometimes patience means resisting the urge to return only because you feel lonely tonight. That is a different kind of strength. When someone's behavior becomes clear, you may want them to admit everything. You want them to say, yes, I was wrong. Yes, I hurt you. Yes, you were right. But not everyone will give you that closure. Some people protect their ego more than they protect relationships. Some rewrite the story. Some blame you. Some tell others a version where they did nothing wrong. You can waste years waiting for an apology that never comes. At some point, you must choose peace without their confession. Closure does not always arrive through another person. Sometimes closure is the moment you finally believe what their actions have shown you. You stop arguing with reality. You stop saying, maybe next time will be different, when nothing has changed. You stop giving your peace to someone who has repeatedly shown that they do not know how to handle it. Then you turn back to Allah. You say, Ya Allah, if there is something I am not seeing, show me gently. If I am wrong about someone, correct me. If someone is harmful for me, protect me, and do not allow pain to make me unfair. That last part matters. Pain can distort us. Someone hurts us, and suddenly we want to believe everyone is evil. Do not let one person's behavior poison your view of humanity. There are sincere people. There are loyal people. There are people who will celebrate you. There are people who will protect your name when you are not in the room. There are people who will make dua for you without telling you. There are people who do not want anything from you except goodness. Do not close your heart to them because someone else disappointed you. Learn, heal, become wiser, but remain soft enough to recognize goodness when Allah sends it. Sometimes a mask slipping is painful, but seeing the truth is better than spending another 10 years loving an illusion. When Allah allows reality to become clearer, do not immediately panic. Observe, pray, use wisdom, take your time, and remember, truth may hurt for a moment, but living inside a lie can hurt for years. Lesson 3. Your growth will reveal them. Growth changes relationships. This is something many people do not expect. You imagine that when you become better, everyone around you will be happy. You imagine that if you heal, people will celebrate. If you become disciplined, they will encourage you. If you improve your faith, they will respect you. If you become successful, they will clap for you. If you become more confident, they will be proud of you, and many good people will. But growth can also reveal things that comfort never revealed. When nothing is changing, relationships can remain comfortable. Everyone knows their role. Everyone knows what version of you to expect. Maybe you were always the person who said yes, the person who lent money, the person who listened for hours, the person who accepted every joke, the person who never complained, the person who apologized even when you were not wrong, the person who kept every relationship alive, the person who allowed others to cross boundaries because you were afraid they would leave. Then you begin changing. You learn to say no, not angrily, not proudly. Simply, no, I cannot do that. No, I am not comfortable with that. No, I do not want to be spoken to like that. No, I need some time. No, I cannot keep carrying this. And suddenly, some people seem offended. Why? Because your growth changed what they were able to receive from you. People who truly love you may need time to adjust, but they can respect healthy change. People who benefited from your weakness may fight to bring the old you back. This is why growth reveals relationships. When you had no boundaries, everyone looked comfortable. When you developed boundaries, you discovered who respected you and who only respected access to you. When you had no confidence, everyone looked supportive. When you began believing in yourself, you discovered who could handle your light. When you were struggling, some people stood beside you because your struggle made them feel secure. But when you began rising, something changed. Their compliments became smaller, their jokes became sharper, their energy became estranged. They found ways to reduce every good thing happening in your life. You say, Alhamdulillah, I got a new opportunity. They answer, well, it is not that difficult. You say, I have been working on myself. They say, you think you are perfect now? You say, I need to focus on my goals. They say, you have become selfish. Again, do not assume every negative reaction means jealousy. Sometimes people give advice because they see something you do not see. Sometimes growth can make us proud without realizing it. Sometimes success changes our behavior. Sometimes people around us are trying to protect us from arrogance. So remain humble enough to listen. If several sincere people tell you that you are becoming harsh or arrogant, examine yourself. Do not use "I am growing" as an excuse to treat others badly. Real growth should improve your character. You should become less interested in showing off, less interested in proving your importance, more grateful, more generous, more compassionate. If your success makes you cruel, that is not elevation. If your knowledge makes you look down on everyone, that is not spiritual maturity. If your confidence becomes arrogance, something needs correction. But there is also a healthy kind of change that some people will not like. You stop participating in gossip. You leave conversations where people mock others. You stop spending every night in places that pull you away from Allah. You stop wasting hours on things that damage your mind. You become careful about what you watch, what you say, who influences you. You may lose invitations. People may say you are boring. People may say you changed, and maybe you did. Not every change is bad. Sometimes you have changed is actually proof that your prayers are being answered. You asked Allah to guide you. Guidance changes you. You asked Allah to strengthen you. Strength changes how you respond. You asked Allah to protect you. Protection may change where you go and who you allow close. You asked Allah to heal you. Healing changes what you tolerate. You cannot ask Allah for transformation and then become shocked when your life no longer feels the same. Growth has a cost. Sometimes the cost is comfort. Sometimes the cost is being misunderstood. Sometimes the cost is leaving old habits. Sometimes the cost is losing people who only knew how to connect with the wounded version of you. Imagine two people who built a friendship around complaining. Every conversation is about who hurt them. Every meeting is about problems. They never encourage each other to heal. They simply repeat the pain. Then one person begins changing. They start making dua. They start studying. They start working. They stop wanting to complain for hours. They say, I do not want to spend my whole life talking about what happened. I want to move forward. The other person may feel abandoned, not because the first person did something wrong, but because the relationship was built around a shared wound. When the wound begins healing, the connection changes. This happens in many areas of life. Some relationships are built around bad habits. When the habit disappears, the relationship has nothing strong underneath it. Some are built around shared anger, some around gossip, some around fear, some around partying, some around complaining, some around dependency. Then one person becomes healthier and the structure begins falling apart. That is why it is important to build relationships around something deeper: faith, respect, good character, honesty, growth, kindness, mutual support. People who are connected to you through good values can often grow with you. People connected only through unhealthy habits may disappear when the habit disappears. Do not fear that. Ask Allah to replace weak connections with meaningful ones. Your growth can also reveal who truly celebrates you. Pay attention to people who smile when Allah blesses you. They do not make your blessing about themselves. They do not immediately compete. They do not try to make you feel guilty. They say, Masha Allah, I am happy for you. May Allah put barakah in it. These people are precious. Protect those relationships. Do not become so focused on fake people that you forget to appreciate real ones. Sometimes social media teaches us to obsess over enemies. Who is jealous? Who is watching? Who secretly hates you? This way of thinking can become unhealthy. You can spend so much time thinking about who cannot go with you that you forget the beautiful people Allah has already placed beside you. Look around. Who checks on you when nobody is watching? Who gives honest advice? Who celebrates your success? Who corrects you gently? Who remembers you in dua? Who respects your boundaries? Who makes you want to become closer to Allah? These are the people worth valuing. Do not treat sincere people carelessly because you are busy protecting yourself from imaginary enemies. Growth should make your relationships wiser, not colder. Another thing growth reveals is whether someone loves you or loves being needed by you. When you were weak, they were always there. But when you became strong, they became distant. Sometimes certain people build their identity around rescuing others. They enjoy being the person you cannot live without. Then you begin healing. You become independent. You stop calling them for every problem. And instead of celebrating your strength, they feel threatened. Healthy love says, I am happy you are stronger now. Unhealthy attachment says, I miss when you needed me. Learn the difference. You should want the people you love to become stronger. Parents should want children to grow. Friends should want friends to heal. Spouses should want each other to develop. Teachers should want students to become capable. If someone only feels important when you are weak, the relationship may need healthier boundaries. Growth can also expose you to yourself. Maybe you thought you were humble until someone else became more successful. Then jealousy appeared inside you. Maybe you thought you were patient until someone criticized you. Then anger came out. Maybe you thought you trusted Allah until a door closed. Then panic took over. Your growth does not only reveal them, it reveals you. This is one of the greatest gifts of difficult seasons. You begin seeing the parts of your heart that still need work. Do not be ashamed. Take the lesson. Ask Allah to purify you. When jealousy appears, fight it with dua. When pride appears, remember where every blessing came from. When anger appears, learn restraint. When fear appears, strengthen tawakkul. When attachment becomes too strong, remember that everything belongs to Allah. This is real elevation, not being praised, not being admired, not having more money, not having a bigger audience. Real elevation begins inside. Your heart becomes cleaner, your reactions become wiser, your dependence on Allah becomes deeper. Your need for people's approval becomes smaller, your ability to forgive becomes stronger. Your ability to walk away from harm becomes calmer. You do not need dramatic exits anymore. You do not need long messages explaining why you are done. You do not need to prove you have changed. You simply live differently. The strongest growth is often quiet. People notice you no longer react the same way. Things that once destroyed your whole week now only disturb you for an hour. Words that once controlled your mind no longer have the same power. You no longer answer every insult. You no longer chase every misunderstanding. You no longer need everyone to know your side. That kind of peace reveals people quickly. Those who wanted drama may become bored. Those who wanted control may become frustrated. Those who love your peace will respect it. Keep growing, but grow with humility. Do not become obsessed with proving that others cannot handle your success. Instead, become grateful for everyone who loves you sincerely. And whenever someone reacts strangely to your growth, do not immediately attack them. Observe, make dua, check yourself first. Then use wisdom. Sometimes your growth reveals that they cannot continue with you. Sometimes it reveals that you need to become more compassionate. And sometimes it reveals that both of you simply need a different path. Whatever the lesson is, let growth make you better, not bitter. Lesson 4. You stop feeling at home. There are seasons when familiar things begin feeling unfamiliar. You go to the same places. You sit with the same people. You hear the same conversations. Nothing on the outside seems completely different, yet something inside you has changed. What once made you comfortable now makes you tired. What once entertained you now feels empty. The conversations you once enjoyed no longer satisfy you. The habits that once felt normal begin disturbing your heart. You may ask yourself, why do I feel strange here? Why do I feel lonely even when I am surrounded by people? Why do I want something deeper? This feeling can be confusing. Sometimes it is simply part of growing. As your values change, your environment may no longer fit the person you are becoming. Think about old clothes. There was a time when they fit perfectly. Nothing was wrong with them, but you grew. Now wearing them feels uncomfortable. You do not hate the clothes. You simply no longer fit them. Some seasons of life are like that. You may not hate anyone. You may not have a dramatic argument. Nobody may have betrayed you. But the connection changes. You stop feeling at home. This can happen when Allah brings your heart closer to Him. Things that once filled your time begin feeling less important. You want peace. You want purpose. You want conversations that have meaning. You want to protect your salah. You want to wake up with a clearer heart. You begin noticing how certain environments affect your faith. Maybe every time you spend hours with certain people, you leave feeling heavy. You talked about everyone. You complained. You laughed at things you should not have laughed at. You neglected prayer. You wasted the whole day. Then afterward, your heart feels empty. That discomfort can be useful. It can be a sign that your conscience is becoming more awake. The answer is not always to immediately cut everyone off. Sometimes you can influence the environment positively. Change the conversation. Be the person who does not gossip. Invite people towards something better. Suggest prayer when the time comes. Speak kindly. Bring good energy. People can grow together, but if an environment repeatedly pulls you away from Allah, and you know you are not strong enough to resist it, distance can be wise. Your environment matters. Human beings are influenced by what surrounds them. If you spend your time with people who constantly complain, you may become negative. If you spend your time with people who mock faith, your heart may slowly become careless. If you spend your time with people who are serious about learning, discipline, prayer, and character, their habits can influence you too. This is why choosing company is important. Not because you are better than others, but because your heart is affected by what it repeatedly hears. There may come a season where Allah creates discomfort in places you once loved, because staying comfortable there would keep you small. Again, we should not claim with certainty that every uncomfortable feeling is a direct sign from Allah. Sometimes discomfort comes from anxiety, sometimes from personal problems, sometimes from misunderstanding. Sometimes we simply need rest. So do not make huge decisions based only on one feeling. Pray istihara when appropriate. Think carefully. Seek advice from trustworthy people. Watch patterns. Give yourself time. But if something has been unhealthy for a long time and your heart keeps recognizing it, do not ignore that forever. Some people stay in environments they have outgrown because they are afraid of what comes next. The old life may be painful, but it is familiar. The new life is unknown, and human beings often prefer familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility. You know the people, you know the routine, you know what to expect. Leaving means uncertainty. Who will you talk to? Where will you go? Will you make new friends? Will you regret it? These fears are normal, but sometimes faith means moving forward without having every answer. You do not need to know the whole road. You need enough light for the next step. Maybe the next step is simply spending less time in an unhealthy environment. Maybe it is joining a class. Maybe it is going to the masjid more. Maybe it is reconnecting with family. Maybe it is learning something new. Maybe it is building a new routine. Maybe it is spending quiet time with Allah. Small steps can slowly create a new life. When you stop feeling at home in your old chapter, there may be a period where you do not feel at home anywhere. This is the difficult middle. You have left the old version of yourself, but you have not fully entered the new version yet. Old friends feel distant. New friends have not appeared. Old habits are gone. New habits still feel difficult. Old dreams no longer excite you. New dreams are still unclear. This middle season can feel lonely. Do not mistake loneliness for failure. Some of the strongest changes in your life happen quietly in these in-between moments. The seed is not visible when it first begins growing underground. People cannot see what Allah may be building inside you. They only see that you have become quieter, more private, less available. But inside, you may be learning how to live differently. You are discovering who you are without constant noise. You are learning to sit with yourself. You are learning that peace does not require entertainment every minute. You begin enjoying simple things: a quiet prayer, a walk, a book, a conversation with someone sincere, time with family, a morning without drama, a night where your heart is not carrying 10 people's problems. You realize how much noise you once confused with connection. There is a difference between being surrounded and being understood. A room can be full and still feel lonely. A single sincere friend can make you feel more at home than 100 shallow connections. When Allah changes your heart, your definition of belonging may change too. Home stops being where everyone knows me. Home becomes where I can remain true to who I am. Home becomes a place where you do not need to perform, where you do not need to become smaller, where your faith is respected, where your peace is protected, where your boundaries are not treated like insults, where you can grow without being mocked. Sometimes that home is a group of people. Sometimes it is your family. Sometimes it is a masjid. Sometimes it is a quiet room where you finally learn to make dua honestly. And sometimes, before Allah gives you new belonging, He teaches you that your deepest home is with Him. People move, people change, places change, circumstances change, but your relationship with Allah can travel with you anywhere. You can lose a job and still have Allah. You can move to a new city and still have Allah. You can lose friends and still have Allah. You can enter a completely unfamiliar season and still turn toward the same Qibla. That is stability. Your heart needs something permanent in a temporary world. If you build your entire identity around people, every separation will destroy you. If you build your identity around popularity, every rejection will shake you. If you build your identity around one place, every move will frighten you. But if your heart becomes anchored in Allah, you can survive change. You may bend, you may cry, you may need time, but you do not completely collapse. Another reason you may stop feeling at home is that Allah is teaching you not to return to an old version of yourself. Sometimes you miss your old life because it was easier. You miss when you did not think so deeply. You miss when you could ignore certain things. You miss when you could waste time without feeling guilty. Growth can feel heavy because awareness brings responsibility. Once you understand something, it becomes difficult to pretend you do not know it. Once you discover your worth, disrespect feels harder to tolerate. Once you taste peace, drama feels more exhausting. Once you experience sincere worship, empty distractions may lose some of their power. Do not be afraid of that. You are not losing yourself. You may be meeting a deeper version of yourself. Still, remain balanced. Do not isolate yourself completely. Islam values community. Family ties matter. Good friendships matter. Serving people matters. Do not turn spiritual growth into disappearing from everyone. Sometimes the next step is not leaving people. Sometimes it is learning to stay without becoming controlled by the environment. You may need to become strong enough to sit among different people while keeping your values. That is also growth. Ask, does this place repeatedly pull me away from Allah? Do I become worse every time I am here? Can I remain true to my values? Have I tried healthy boundaries? Am I leaving because something is truly unhealthy, or because I simply do not like being challenged? These questions help you distinguish growth from avoidance, because sometimes people leave every difficult relationship and call it protecting peace. But peace does not mean running from every uncomfortable conversation. Some relationships need repair, not abandonment. Some disagreements need patience. Some family situations require wisdom, not complete disappearance. Use balance. But when something repeatedly destroys your peace, weakens your faith, and refuses every healthy attempt at repair, accepting distance may be necessary, you stop feeling at home. Then, slowly, Allah teaches you that perhaps you were never meant to build your permanent home inside a temporary chapter. Maybe the discomfort is pushing you towards something deeper. Maybe you are being prepared for better company. Maybe you are being taught independence. Maybe you are learning how to protect your faith. Maybe you are simply becoming someone different. Do not panic when familiar places begin feeling small. Take the lesson, stay humble, ask Allah for guidance, and keep walking. Sometimes the place that no longer feels like home is simply the place you were meant to grow beyond. Lesson 5. Allah lets you hear the truth. There are moments when one sentence can change everything. You hear something you were never supposed to hear. Someone tells you what was said when you were not there. A person finally admits what they truly think. A conversation reveals what beautiful words had been hiding. Or someone speaks carelessly, and their words show you more than they intended. These moments can be painful. Sometimes you wish you had never heard it. Before that moment, you had peace. You trusted them. You believed the relationship was safe. Then a few words change the way you see everything. You ask, did they really say that about me? Is this how they actually feel? Have they been thinking this the whole time? Your mind may begin racing. You remember every conversation, every smile, every promise, every time you defended them. And suddenly, you feel foolish, but do not rush. Hearing something does not always mean you understand the full truth. People misquote others. Stories change as they are repeated. One sentence can be removed from its context. Sometimes a person reports something because they want to create conflict. Islam teaches us to verify information. So if someone comes to you saying, "Do you know what they said about you?" do not immediately explode. Ask yourself, is this person trustworthy? Why are they telling me? Do I have the full context? Would confronting this calmly bring clarity? Many relationships have been destroyed by information that was incomplete or false. Do not become easy to manipulate. Some people enjoy carrying words between others. They create problems and then stand back watching the damage. Protect your heart from that. But there are also times when the truth becomes undeniable. You hear enough, you see enough. The person's behavior confirms it. Then the question is not whether it happened. The question becomes, what will you do with what you now know? This is where your character matters. When you hear that someone spoke badly about you, your first desire may be to hurt them back. You want to expose them. You want them to feel embarrassed. You want to send a message immediately. You want to post something indirect online. You want to make sure everyone knows what they did. But reaction is not always wisdom. Sometimes the best answer is silence. Sometimes you need a calm conversation. Sometimes you need distance. Sometimes you need to forgive and continue. Sometimes you need to completely change the level of trust you give that person. Different situations need different responses. Ask Allah for wisdom before anger makes the decision for you. The fact that someone spoke badly about you does not give you permission to destroy your own character. If they gossiped, do not become a gossip. If they lied, do not lie. If they insulted you, do not let their ugliness become your personality. This is one of the greatest tests in relationship pain. Will you become what hurt you, or will you remain the person you want to be before Allah? Anybody can be kind when people are kind to them. Character becomes clear when you are hurt. Can you remain fair? Can you control your tongue? Can you protect yourself without becoming cruel? Can you set boundaries without becoming obsessed with revenge? That is strength. Sometimes Allah allows you to hear the truth because you were refusing to accept what actions had already shown you. You kept making excuses. You kept hoping. You kept believing promises. Then something becomes so clear that denial becomes difficult. This can feel cruel in the moment, but clarity can protect you. Imagine you are walking toward a bridge that is broken. Someone shouts, "Stop!" The shout may scare you, but the warning protects you. Truth can feel like that. It interrupts your comfort. But sometimes your comfort was leading you somewhere unsafe. You may be praying for Allah to reveal what is good for you. Then truth appears in a form you did not expect. You wanted a peaceful sign. Instead, you received a painful conversation. You wanted clarity without heartbreak. But sometimes clarity and heartbreak arrive together. Do not only ask, "Why did I have to hear this?" Ask, "What am I supposed to learn now that I know it?" Maybe you need stronger boundaries. Maybe you need to stop sharing everything with everyone. Maybe you need to choose friends more carefully. Maybe you need to become less dependent on praise. Maybe you need to stop expecting human beings to be perfect. Maybe you need to forgive. Maybe you need to leave. Maybe you need to repair something. Truth is useful when it changes you. Otherwise, it becomes something you replay endlessly. Some people spend years repeating what someone said about them. They said this, they said that. I still cannot believe it. Every new person they meet hears the same story. The wound becomes their identity. Do not give another person's words that much control. What they said may have hurt. It may have been unfair. It may have been false. But their words are not Allah's definition of you. People can misunderstand you. People can hate you for reasons that have nothing to do with you. People can judge one moment and believe they understand your entire heart. They can call you weak, while Allah knows how hard you are fighting. They can call you fake, while Allah knows your private tears. They can call you selfish because you finally created a boundary. They can call you unsuccessful, while Allah is building something they cannot see. People's opinions change quickly. Do not build your identity on them. If someone praises you today, you feel high. If they criticize you tomorrow, you collapse. That means you have handed too much control to people. Your goal should be to become more stable. Praise should not make you arrogant. Criticism should not destroy you. When someone says something about you, ask, is there truth in this? If yes, improve. If no, let it go. That simple principle can save you enormous emotional energy. Sometimes your enemy tells you something useful accidentally. They criticize you harshly, but hidden inside the insult is a real weakness you need to fix. Do not reject every criticism because of the person delivering it. Take the truth. Leave the poison. Maybe they said you are unreliable. Their intention may have been to hurt you, but if you know you often fail to keep promises, correct that. Maybe they said you talk too much about yourself. It hurts. But if there is truth, become more aware. Allah can teach you through unexpected voices. A wise person is willing to learn even from someone they dislike. At the same time, do not let false accusations make you question everything about yourself. Some people project their own issues. They may call your confidence arrogance. They may call your peace coldness. They may call your boundaries disrespect. They may call your success luck, because admitting your effort makes them uncomfortable. You do not have to accept every label. Know yourself, know your intentions. Keep checking your heart before Allah. Another painful truth you may hear is that someone you trusted shared something private. This teaches a serious lesson. Do not give everyone full access to your life. Privacy is protection. Not every blessing needs an announcement. Not every plan needs an audience. Not every pain needs to be shared with 10 people. Sometimes we overshare because we want connection. Then later, we regret giving personal information to someone who did not know how to protect it. Learn from that. You do not need to become secretive or suspicious, but become selective. Ask, has this person shown that they can keep trust? Do they speak carelessly about other people's private matters? If someone constantly tells you other people's secrets, remember that your secret may eventually become one of their stories too. Character is usually consistent. Listen to how people talk about others. It can tell you how they may one day talk about you. When truth reaches you, do not become addicted to searching for more. Some people hear one bad thing and then begin investigating everything. Who else said something? What exactly did they say? Who agreed? What time was it? What happened next? Soon their peace is gone. Sometimes knowing more does not help. You already know enough to make a wise decision. Do not drink an entire bottle of poison just because you discovered one drop. Protect your mind. There are details you do not need. There are conversations you do not need repeated. There are screenshots you do not need to see. There are things better left with Allah, and sometimes Allah allows you to hear the truth not so you can fight, but so you can finally stop fighting to keep a relationship that was hurting you. That is a powerful difference. The truth is not always a weapon. Sometimes it is a door out of confusion, a door out of false hope, a door out of endless excuses, a door toward peace. Once you hear what you needed to hear, walk through that door with dignity. Do not spend your next chapter standing at the doorway arguing with people from the old one. Take the lesson, leave the hatred, keep your manners, protect your heart, and say, Ya Allah, thank you for clarity. Help me respond in a way that pleases you. Because sometimes hearing the truth is not the end of your peace. It is the beginning of it. Lesson 6. Allah sends people who match your future. After losing certain relationships, you may believe nobody better will ever come. This is especially true when you are deeply attached. You think, they knew me better than anyone. I will never find another friend like that. Nobody will understand me. I will always be alone. Pain speaks in permanent language. It says always. It says never. It says everyone. But life changes, you change, and Allah is capable of bringing people into your life in ways you could never plan. Sometimes a person arrives quietly. You are not looking for them. You are focused on healing. You are working, studying, praying, building your life. Then Allah creates a connection, a friendship, a mentor, a spouse, a teacher, a colleague, a community. Someone appears who seems to understand the version of you that the old environment could not understand. They respect your boundaries without taking them personally. They do not need you to become smaller so they can feel important. They are not threatened by your dreams. They remind you of Allah. They celebrate your good news. They correct you without humiliating you. They do not disappear every time you are struggling. They make you realize something important. You were not asking for too much. You were sometimes asking the wrong people. This is why you should not lose hope after painful endings. One closed relationship does not mean love has ended forever. One betrayal does not mean sincerity no longer exists. One bad friendship does not mean good friends do not exist. One unhealthy environment does not mean you will never belong anywhere. Allah's world is large. There are billions of people. Do not build a prison around your future because a few people disappointed you. But before healthier people enter, you may need to become healthier yourself. You cannot always receive a new kind of relationship with the same old habits. If you still chase people who ignore you, you may miss the person who is showing up consistently. If you are addicted to drama, peaceful people may feel boring. If you are used to being treated badly, kindness may feel suspicious. If you do not believe you deserve respect, you may sabotage people who genuinely respect you. Healing prepares you to recognize good people. Sometimes we pray, Ya Allah, send me sincere people, but when sincere people arrive, we do not know what to do with them because our nervous system is used to chaos. The healthy friendship feels too simple. There are no games, no constant guessing, no emotional punishment, no silent treatment every week, no competition, no dramatic highs and lows. And because it feels calm, we think something is missing. What is missing is chaos. Peace may feel unfamiliar at first. Learn to recognize it. Good people do not always enter your life dramatically. Sometimes they are the person who keeps their promise, the person who checks on you, the person who speaks well about you when you are not present, the person who does not need constant attention, the person who respects your time, the person who can tell you the truth without trying to hurt you, the person who makes dua when you share a problem instead of turning it into gossip. These qualities may not look exciting on social media, but they build strong relationships. Look for character, not only chemistry. Chemistry can make you feel connected quickly. Character tells you whether the connection is safe. Some people make you laugh immediately, but cannot be trusted. Some people seem quiet at first, but become loyal friends for years. Give people time. Future-aligned relationships are often built slowly. Do not expect everyone Allah sends into your life to think exactly like you. Matching your future does not mean becoming surrounded by copies of yourself. A good friend may challenge you. A good spouse may have a different personality. A mentor may tell you things you do not want to hear. Healthy relationships include differences. What matters is shared respect, shared values, honesty, the ability to communicate, a willingness to grow. You need people who can walk beside you without requiring you to betray yourself. Sometimes Allah sends someone who knows something you need to learn. You may be disciplined, but emotionally closed. They teach you softness. You may be kind, but disorganized. They teach you structure. You may be ambitious, but impatient. They teach you calm. You may know much about religion, but struggle with gentleness. They remind you that knowledge should improve character. Good people do not only support where you are going, they help shape the person you need to become. This is why companionship matters so much. You become influenced by the people you spend time with. Their habits become normal to you. Their language enters your language. Their standards influence your standards. If your closest people wake early, work hard, pray, learn, and protect their character, these things begin feeling normal. If everyone around you wastes time and laughs at discipline, staying focused becomes harder. You are still responsible for your choices, but environment matters. Ask Allah for companions who make goodness easier, not perfect people. There are no perfect people. If you expect perfect friends, you will always be disappointed. Healthy people still forget things. They become tired. They sometimes say the wrong thing. They may misunderstand you. They may need forgiveness. The difference is what happens afterward. Can they apologize? Can they take responsibility? Can you talk openly? Do they try to improve? Can they forgive your mistakes too? Strong relationships are not relationships without problems. They are relationships where problems can be handled with character. Sometimes after betrayal, you may test every new person unfairly. You expect them to prove constantly that they will not hurt you. You compare them to the person from your past. A small mistake triggers a huge reaction. They take a little longer to reply, and you think, they are leaving too. They disagree with you, and you think, they secretly hate me. They spend time with someone else, and you feel replaced. This is how old wounds can damage new blessings. Do not make new people pay for old people's mistakes. Heal enough to meet each person as themselves. Be wise, yes. Have boundaries. Notice patterns. But do not demand that someone prove innocence against a crime they never committed. Trust should grow with time. Let it grow naturally. Another beautiful thing happens when Allah sends people who fit your future. You stop having to explain basic respect. You no longer need to beg for normal kindness. You do not need to convince someone to celebrate you. Good things begin feeling more mutual. You check on them, they check on you. You support them, they support you. You listen, they listen. You pray for them, they pray for you. The relationship has balance. This teaches you how exhausting one-sided relationships were. Sometimes you did not realize you were carrying everything until you experienced what mutual care feels like. You thought relationships were supposed to leave you emotionally empty. Then someone healthy shows you that connection can also give peace. Be grateful when this happens. Do not take good people for granted simply because they are easier to love. Sometimes we become addicted to chasing difficult people while ignoring those who consistently care. Value consistency. Value peace. Value people who bring goodness into your life, and become that person for them too. If Allah sends you a sincere friend, do not only ask what they can do for you. Ask how you can protect the friendship. Be reliable. Keep their secrets. Celebrate them. Do not become jealous when Allah gives them something beautiful. Be present when they struggle. Give advice with gentleness. Apologize when you are wrong. Healthy relationships require two healthy efforts. You also need to understand that some future-aligned people may only remain for another season. Not every good person is permanent either. Someone can be good for you and still eventually move on. Life changes. People relocate. Responsibilities grow. Priorities shift. The relationship may become less close without becoming bad. Learn to be grateful without trying to control permanence. Every blessing belongs to Allah. Enjoy people while they are part of your life. Treat them well, but do not hold them with fear. Love should contain trust in Allah, not desperation. Sometimes Allah sends a person to teach you one thing. Maybe they show you what respect feels like. Maybe they help you through grief. Maybe they introduce you to knowledge. Maybe they believe in you during a season when you do not believe in yourself. Then the chapter changes. You can still be grateful. A relationship does not need to last forever to have been meaningful. Do not judge every ending as failure. The important thing is what the connection planted inside you. When the right people enter, you may finally understand why certain old relationships had to become distant. At the time, losing them felt like punishment. Later, you recognize that your life needed space. You were spending all your emotional energy trying to repair something that would never become healthy. Once you released it, you had room to meet new people, room to think, room to grow. room to become yourself. Sometimes Allah does not immediately replace what leaves. There may be a long gap. Do not force a replacement because silence is uncomfortable. Loneliness can make you accept anyone. Be patient. It is better to wait for healthy companionship than to fill every empty space with another unhealthy connection. During the quiet period, build yourself. Strengthen your salah. Learn, work, take care of your body. Develop skills. Spend time with family. Serve others. Become the kind of person you are praying to meet. If you want loyal friends, practice loyalty. If you want honest people, become honest. If you want people of faith, strengthen your faith. If you want people who communicate well, learn to communicate. If you want emotionally mature relationships, work on your own emotional maturity. Then when Allah opens new doors, you are more ready to enter them. Never believe that everyone has to understand your future. Some people will only understand the version of you they met. Others will meet you after the struggle and understand the person you have become. Both had different roles. Do not spend your life forcing old people to understand new dreams. Walk with those who respect your direction. And above all, make sure your direction leads toward Allah. Because the best companions are not simply people who match your ambition. They are people who help protect your akhirah. People who remind you when you forget. People who pull you back when your ego grows. People who want good for your dunya without sacrificing your deen. When Allah sends those people, recognize the blessing, treat them well, and remember, sometimes losing the wrong company is exactly what creates room for the right company to find you. Lesson 7. Your new chapter explains everything. There are things happening in your life right now that may not make sense. A friendship ended, a door closed, someone changed, a plan failed, an opportunity disappeared. You prayed for something and did not receive it. You trusted someone and became disappointed. You were forced to start again when you wanted stability. At the moment, all you can see is loss. You ask, why did this happen? Why now? Why this person? Why did Allah allow me to become attached if the relationship would end? Why did the door open only to close later? These are human questions. Pain wants answers. But sometimes the answer does not arrive immediately. Sometimes understanding comes months later, sometimes years later, and sometimes full understanding may never come in this life. Faith means trusting Allah even when the whole picture is hidden. You are seeing one page. Allah knows the whole story. Imagine reading a book and stopping in the middle of the hardest chapter. The main character loses everything. If you close the book there, the story looks hopeless. But you have not reached the next chapter. Life can feel like that. You judge the whole story by the page you are currently living. You say, everything is falling apart, but perhaps something is being rearranged. You say, I lost my chance, but maybe another door will open. You say, I lost the people I needed, but perhaps Allah is teaching you how much strength He placed inside you. You say, I am behind, but maybe your path has a different timing. This does not mean every painful event will turn into exactly what you want. Faith is not pretending that every loss will be replaced with something bigger in a worldly sense. Sometimes a loss remains a loss. Sometimes you never get the thing back. Sometimes a dream truly ends. But even then, Allah can create meaning from pain. You can become wiser, more compassionate, more careful, more prayerful, more aware of what matters. You can come out of a broken chapter with a heart that knows Allah in a way comfort never taught you. That itself is a kind of gain. Many people understand their past differently once they enter a healthier future. Imagine you spent years begging someone to choose you. You cried. You made excuses. You tried to become whatever they wanted. Eventually, the relationship ended. You thought your life was over. Then years later, you meet someone who treats you with respect. You do not have to beg. You do not have to chase. You do not have to question every day where you stand. Suddenly, the old relationship looks different. You think, I cannot believe I accepted that. Your new chapter explained the old one. Or maybe you lose a job. You feel humiliated. You think Allah has closed your provision. Months later, you find work that fits you better, or the loss pushes you to build something of your own, or you discover a skill you never knew you had. Then you realize that if the old door had remained open, you might never have moved. Again, life does not always resolve so neatly. We should not promise people that every job loss will lead to a better salary, or every heartbreak will immediately bring a better person. But many times, new context changes how you understand old pain. This is why you should be careful about calling something the worst thing that ever happened while you are still inside it. You do not know what Allah may produce from it. Your current chapter does not have the final word. Sometimes your new chapter explains why certain people could not stay. At first, you thought you needed them. Then you begin building a life where their behavior would no longer fit. Your peace becomes too valuable for constant drama. Your goals require focus. Your faith requires different habits. Your future needs stability. Then you realize, if they had remained exactly as they were, I would have kept becoming smaller. That realization can bring peace. You stop asking why they left. You begin thanking Allah for what you learned, but be careful not to become arrogant. Do not enter your new chapter saying, "Look at me now, they lost me." That still means your heart is tied to them. Real healing is when your blessing no longer needs to become revenge. You do not need your success to hurt anybody. You do not need the people from your past to regret losing you. You do not need them watching. You do not need them jealous. You do not need them apologizing. You can simply be grateful. That is freedom. Some people secretly want elevation because they want others to feel bad. They imagine becoming successful, so everyone who rejected them will be ashamed. But if your success is still built around proving something to people, they still control part of your heart. A better dua is, Ya Allah, bless me in ways that make me grateful, humble and useful. Not, bless me so they suffer when they see me. Your blessing should bring you closer to Allah, not deeper into ego. Your new chapter may also explain why Allah delayed you. You watched others move forward. They married, they succeeded, they bought homes, they traveled, they built careers, and you felt forgotten. You asked, why is everyone moving except me? Then one day, something finally opens, and you realize you were not simply waiting. You were being prepared. During the delay, you learned patience. You changed habits. You gained skills. You healed certain wounds. You became ready for a responsibility that the old version of you could not have carried. The delay was not empty. It was training. This is why you should not waste waiting seasons. Do not only sit asking, when will Allah change my life? Ask, what can I change while I wait? You cannot control every door, but you can work on your character. You can learn, you can improve your health, you can save money, you can repair family relationships, you can strengthen your worship, you can build discipline, you can prepare. Then if Allah opens a door, you enter stronger. And if that door never opens, the growth was still valuable. Sometimes your new chapter explains why certain prayers were not answered in the form you expected. You begged for a person. Years later, you realized that relationship would have been harmful. You begged for a particular opportunity. Later, you discover something about it that you could not see before. You wanted to live somewhere. Later, another place became better for your family. You wanted immediate success, but early success might have fed your ego before your character was ready. We do not always know. This is why dua should contain trust. Ask strongly. Ask specifically. Allah loves that we turn toward Him, but leave room in your heart for His wisdom. Say, Ya Allah, I want this. But if it is bad for me, protect me from it. and give me what is better. That prayer contains desire and surrender together. A mature believer learns to want things without worshipping the outcome. You work hard, you make dua, you hope, but if Allah chooses another path, you keep walking. That is Tawakkul. Your new chapter may also explain why you had to become lonely. Maybe the quiet season taught you something you never would have learned in a crowd. You discovered your own voice. You realized what you actually believed rather than repeating everyone around you. You learned to pray when nobody was watching. You learned to comfort yourself with Quran. You learned that you could survive silence. Then when new people came, you no longer needed them desperately. You could love them without making them responsible for your entire happiness. That creates healthier relationships. A person who is terrified of being alone may accept anything to keep company. A person who has learned to be at peace alone can choose company more wisely. Loneliness can be painful, but sometimes it teaches independence. Your new chapter may explain why you had to be misunderstood. When everyone understands you, you may become addicted to explaining. You want approval before every decision. Then a season comes where people misunderstand you, no matter how clearly you speak. At first, it breaks you. Then eventually you learn. I cannot control every person's opinion. That lesson is powerful. You begin living with more sincerity. You still listen to advice. You still correct yourself, but you stop needing universal approval. There will always be someone who misunderstands, someone who criticizes, someone who sees your life through their own experience. If you wait for everyone to agree before moving forward, you will never move. Seek Allah's guidance, consult wise people, then make the best decision you can. The future may explain whether it was right. And if you made a mistake, learn. Mistakes can also become teachers. Not every wrong turn ruins your life. Sometimes it humbles you, corrects you, makes you wiser. A new chapter does not always mean a bigger house, more money, more followers, or public success. Sometimes the new chapter is internal. You are finally calm. You sleep without fear. You stop checking someone's profile. You stop replaying an old conversation. You can hear their name without your heart collapsing. You pray without begging Allah to return what He removed. You laugh again. You enjoy your family. You focus on your own life. Nobody may notice. There is no announcement. But inside, a whole world has changed. That is elevation too. Peace is elevation. Wisdom is elevation. Self-control is elevation. A heart that forgives is elevation. A person who no longer needs to prove themselves to everyone has risen in a way that cannot always be photographed. Do not reduce Allah's blessings to public success. Sometimes the greatest blessing is that your heart is no longer carrying what nearly destroyed it. One day, you may look back at the season you thought would end you and realize it became the beginning of who you are now. The betrayal taught you boundaries. The rejection taught you self-respect. The loneliness taught you dependence on Allah. The delay taught you patience. The failure taught you humility. The silence taught you to listen. The loss taught you gratitude. The distance showed you who truly cared. The closed door forced you to notice another one. Then everything begins connecting. You say, "Now I understand why I had to leave. Now I understand why that friendship could not continue. Now I understand why I felt uncomfortable there. Now I understand why Allah did not give me what I was begging for." But remember, you may not receive every answer. Some questions remain with Allah. Part of faith is accepting mystery. Prophets themselves experienced pain before seeing its wisdom. Life contains things beyond our understanding. Do not make your peace dependent on receiving a perfect explanation. Sometimes Allah knows has to be enough. There is deep peace in those two words. Allah knows why it happened. Allah knows what you lost. Allah knows what you gave. Allah knows what they said. Allah knows what you intended. Allah knows what you are afraid of. Allah knows what is coming. You do not need to know everything Allah knows in order to trust Him. A child holding a parent's hand does not understand the entire road. They simply trust the hand. Your relationship with Allah requires something even deeper. Keep walking while you do not understand. Keep praying when the answer is delayed. Keep your character when people disappoint you. Keep believing that Allah can bring goodness from places you thought were empty. And when the new chapter finally comes, do not waste it looking backward all day. Some people escape a painful past, but keep living there mentally. They get the new opportunity, but still talk every day about the old rejection. They meet healthy people, but remain emotionally focused on the person who hurt them. They enter peace, but keep searching for drama. Do not carry the furniture of your old life into every new room. Take the wisdom. Leave what no longer belongs. If Allah gives you peace, enjoy it. If He gives you sincere people, value them. If He opens a door, walk through it with gratitude. If He increases your provision, become generous. If He gives you influence, remain humble. If He heals your heart, use your healing to help others. Do not make your new chapter only about you. The best blessings are those that make you better for other people. Maybe you suffered so deeply that now you notice pain others miss. Maybe you were rejected, so you know how to make others feel included. Maybe you experienced loneliness, so you check on people. Maybe someone broke your trust, so you become careful with other people's secrets. Maybe you were mocked, so you refuse to humiliate anyone. Pain becomes beautiful when it produces mercy. This may be one of the greatest explanations your new chapter gives you. You realize the struggle was not only changing your circumstances, it was shaping your character. And character is something you carry into every chapter. So when Allah opens something new, enter it differently. Do not repeat the old patterns. Do not ignore the same warning signs. Do not become the person who once hurt you. Do not forget Allah, because life finally became easier. Many people remember Allah in the storm and forget Him when the sun returns. Do not let that happen. If pain brought you to Salah, keep praying when you are happy. If loneliness brought you to dua, keep making dua when your circle becomes full. If hardship taught you gratitude, stay grateful when you receive more. The purpose of the new chapter is not to forget the old lesson. Carry the lesson without carrying the wound. That is healing. Maybe one day you will sit quietly and think about everything you survived, the people you thought you needed, the doors you thought had to open, the nights you cried, the conversations you replayed, the moments when you thought Allah had forgotten you, and you will see your life differently. You may even smile at things that once made you cry. Not because the pain was fake, but because you finally see that the pain did not have the final word. Allah carried you. You are still here. You learned. You changed. You became stronger. And perhaps the chapter you once begged Allah to change became the chapter that prepared you for everything that came after it. So if you are standing at the end of something right now, do not immediately call it the end of your story. It may only be the end of a chapter. Turn the page with Bismillah. Walk carefully. Stay humble. Keep your heart connected to Allah, and trust that what does not make sense today may look completely different when you see it from the next chapter. Ya Allah, guide us toward the people and paths that are good for our faith, our hearts, and our future. Protect us from harmful relationships, hidden jealousy, and choices that take us away from you. Give us wisdom when people leave, patience when life changes, and a clean heart that does not carry hatred. Replace every harmful loss with what is better for us. Keep sincere people around us and make us sincere people for others. Lead us into every new chapter with faith, humility, peace, and complete trust in you. Ameen.